In the latest example of how meritocracy is just a myth in the United States, the New York Times has published a lengthy feature on The View and has dubbed it the most important political TV show in America. That is what they have called it. The most important political show in America. And I'm talking about The View, where on a regular basis, not only we dunk on them, but the country dunks on them because they have absolutely no knowledge. And when I say they, I'm mostly talking about Abby Huntsman, obviously Meghan McCain, and their insanely superficial discussions about politics, which it appears they never prepare for, and just read talking points that are written on blue cards for them, and then somehow that's the most important political talk show.
You won't want to miss The View's recent takedown by burning hot takes. Don't assume that show was just a collection of heated debates and casual conversation. This breakdown doesn't mince words, and Ana is in the forefront. Get ready for an eye-opening experience.
Oral core is magnificent. I know you probably don't want to, you don't want to think about it, but I just feel like I would feel a lot better with you leading the FBI, the CIA, the NBC.
Nope. No. Listen, like, you want to talk about undemocratic acts, guys? Bush stole an election. Okay, in 2000. Was Liz Cheney doing anything about that?
Yeah.
Come on, man. Like, let's stop laundering their reputations. What are we doing? Look,
Right.
Whoopi Goldberg is, as my brother likes to say it, gooch. Like, she's good. She's comfortable. She's happy. And when your financial stability and your comfort is secured, honestly, politics just becomes
And Kasparian speaks with confidence, clarity, and a laser-like intensity that compels you to pause and pay attention. She doesn't need hype to create an impression. Therefore, when she pointed out the opinion, it wasn't idle chatter. Rather, it was a firm demand for responsibility. She made a straightforward point. Not all viewpoints are deserving of tolerance.
The thing that's so frustrating to me is, look, I don't know what Whoopi Goldberg is aware of and what she's unaware of, right? I don't remember her commenting on politics back during the Bush era. So maybe she's totally unaware that Bush suspended habeas corpus for anyone who was simply suspected of being an enemy combatant, which, by the way, prevented individuals from legally challenging their detention. That's what that did. It was so egregious that the Supreme Court overturned the suspension of habeas corpus. This is unconstitutional.
Instead of wasting time on courteous small talk, Ana gets right to the issue and refutes flimsy arguments with focus and facts. The normal hosts weren't prepared for someone like her because they were accustomed to expressing their opinions quickly. She arrived ready to offer strong arguments that couldn't be dismissed, not to create drama.
See this one coming.
Because I want to juxtapose the kind of life Whoopi Goldberg lives and what average Americans are struggling with right now. So let's go to graphic 4 here. After landing her gig on The View, Goldberg relocated back to New York City, where she bought a full-floor loft in Soho for $4 million.
Me too. She knows. She knows the working class.
She sold the 2-bedroom apartment in 2010, during the economic crash, of course, for just under $3 million, so she lost there. But in a search for more privacy, she moved to the New Jersey suburbs, purchasing a $2.8 million mansion in the gated.
The host received a reality check instead of the anticipated business as usual, which included some light chat and possibly some unpleasant interactions. To be honest, Ana Kasparian's revelation of their lack of preparation was sufficient without her presence on the scene.
It blows my mind that anyone still believes that this country is at all based on meritocracy. Like, it's just not. A mistake is a mistake. I get it. And I actually don't get mad simply because someone disagrees with progressives on television. I get mad when they come from a place of ignorance, like they don't know the facts of the story, and then they come out hard against progressives. Like, if you have a counterpoint to what we believe and it's a good point.
Point 5. The View has earned a reputation for having lively debates, but let's face it, it frequently prioritizes appearance over content. The majority of what they say sounds like background noise, even though they seem to be delving deeply into politics. The hosts have relied less on genuine understanding and more on volume and celebrity over the years. Ana Kasparian stands noteworthy in this regard. She is composed, knowledgeable, and can make a compelling point with a single, well-supported argument without raising her voice. She pointed out how superficial the discussion had been, and the worst part, she accomplished everything without ever setting foot on the set.
Older women, let's keep it real, who are laughing because they find it ridiculous, but they forget that the vast majority of people don't have cushy TV daytime jobs, right? Where they're still raking in the big bucks and they don't have to worry about their financial future. For a lot of Americans, in fact, most Americans, once you hit a certain age, if you get fired, if you're in your 50s and you lose your job, you get laid off. Do you know how difficult it is for them to find another job? Do you know how rampant age discrimination is in the workplace? So, listen, it's easy for them to laugh about those fears, but those fears are real, and I would venture to say that the people who are actually out of touch are not the Zoomers who are concerned about that. It's the people sitting on that.
Let's be honest, The View is the type of program where participants constantly interrupt one another and share politically unfounded viewpoints. It was inevitable that such a format would reach its limit. Ana made an impression without having to sit at their table. She was able to cut through the commotion with a shrewd, straightforward remark from her own platform. What then caused it? It was probably one of those cliched, hurried, and superficial segments, but Ana had had enough. She made it obvious that this was only theatrical and not a genuine conversation, and she wasn't going to put up with it.
I think I want to be stuck in whatever internet bubble you guys are in, because I'm not reading that my sit down with Ben Shapiro was totally okay. In fact, I get a lot of backlash from the left about how I'm a secret Trump supporter. I'm actually a secret right-winger. Some people have accused me of being alt-right. One of the things I got in trouble for fairly recently was, I don't know, I just think asylum seekers or people who are here with undocumented status should be deported if they're committing crimes, right? I don't think that makes you anti-immigrant.
That's fascist.
Yeah, I know.
Please.
Well, but honestly, the left, and I'm saying the left generally, but honestly, it's like a slice of the left. They will call you anti-immigrant or xenophobic, bigoted, whatever, anti-immigrant, for just wanting to have law and order.
To make her point from her own space, Ana Kasparian didn't need to appear on The View's panel. While the host depended on emotion and theatrical reactions, she quietly dissected the show's typical pattern while likely sipping coffee. Ana made it apparent that something was wrong with their strategy. She didn't require their set or external attention. She confidently, clearly, and unobtrusively demonstrated the weaknesses in their arguments. Ana broke through the clutter with genuine understanding as they discussed women's rights and politics. Even though she wasn't present, her remarks had a greater impact than anything the panel had to offer.
I've been watching your evolution and your sort of speaking out about your ideas with great interest. It's been very interesting. I feel like in some ways I experienced something similar myself, where I was certainly more, I think, on the left 10 years ago than I am now, for sure. I would never have described myself as a liberal past college, but I see what you're going through, and I think a lot of people can relate, where it's like you just get so aggravated with shit breaking down that you believed in. You feel like you have no choice but to just start calling it.
With years of experience under the lights, the hosts might have felt at ease on camera, but they weren't prepared for the kind of straightforward, fact-based critique Ana gave. She just stated the facts without yelling or talking over anyone, and from outside the studio, she was able to expose how flimsy some of their interpretations are. The problem when someone like Ana interrupts and calls it out, the entire charade begins to fall apart. The viewpoint frequently seems to be in a rut, agreeing and repeating the same things while seldom ever going deeper or providing solid evidence on TV that can pass.
Why it feels like it almost feels like you're rubbing it in our face when you say that.
And I know they don't mean to do that.
Yeah, I agree.
But I do think that for people who deliver the news or discuss or analyze what's happening in the country, it's a big problem when you look at pretty much every news organization and realize a lot of these people went to Ivy Leagues. A lot of these people come from affluent families. A lot of these people are totally disconnected from the vast majority of Americans. And
Speaking the truth and not being scared to express what many people already believe are Ana Kasparian's goals, not fame. Ana didn't take it well when the hosts made one of their vacuous remarks, perhaps about the difficulties faced by the working class or the educational system. She posed the question, "Do you even know what you're talking about?" that many viewers had likely been thinking for years. Although she wasn't trying to be nasty, she used factual information to refute their arguments while the hosts were using catchphrases like representation and social justice. Ana reminded everyone that these are important subjects that require more than superficial discussion. The show just couldn't keep up with her knowledge, not her catchphrases.
On the broad left, or someone who just doesn't agree with the idea of Donald Trump leading this country again. Do you find ways to work with the incoming administration, or do you try to fight the administration every step of the way? Well, the ladies at The View have differing opinions on this. You just heard from Alyssa Farah Griffin, who thinks that, well, there are some areas where I agree with Trump. Maybe we can look to the positives here. Others disagree. Let's take a look.
I'm going to wait and see. He's not been sworn in yet. I'm somebody who probably agrees with 75% of his policies. If he focuses on creating jobs, on bringing down the cost of living, securing the border in a responsible way, and being tough on America's adversaries,
Not only did Ana Kasparian expose The View, but she also methodically destroyed their reasoning. Ana remained composed, straightforward, and fact-driven while the hosts capitalized on celebrity and emotion. She brought it back to reality after they sidestepped the facts. Even though the panel was clearly shaken, Ana didn't bat an eye. The answer was instantaneous online. Viewers began to doubt the show's polished appearance, and social media exploded. The View appeared superficial for a change, and Ana made it apparent what authentic, knowledgeable commentary ought to look like. She not only prevailed in the debate, but she also upped the bar,